Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's going to be a bit of a story today. I'm going to do a little storytelling. I'll play a tune for you. When I was 24 years old, I sailed across the Atlantic Ocean with 5 other people on the SORCA, a 55-foot schooner. And it was 2,000 miles each way. It was a long trip. We went to the Azores in Portugal. So I want to show you some photos of that trip that I just dug up, which is kind of cool. Tell you a little story, play a tune for you, and then there you go. There's your little thingamajig for today. So I hope you like it, and here we go. So here we go. This is the schooner ship SORCA. We launched out of the Dobson Yacht Club in Coxheath 26 years ago. And this is it when we put her in the water. Really beautiful boat. Dr. Martin Brennan owned the boat. Recently I heard it actually sunk about 2 years ago. It sunk partway across the Atlantic. It took on water and sunk, which nobody was hurt, but anyway. We're getting ready to leave, so my mom and dad showed up. There's my mom and dad. There's my bro coming to say goodbye, and there's me just getting ready to rig it up. And then we headed out, and we were under sail. Look at that. Man, it was a beautiful boat. I sincerely love that boat. Here we go. We're under sail here. Beautiful. We're all just sitting out on the deck. Everything's going really good. As you can see, Joe's doing his journal and everything is going great until we hit the Grand Banks and we hit a smoking storm that totally blew my mind. And I did not ever want to see anything like that again. This is pretty much how I looked for most of the trip. I had a nickname on the trip, and it was Bucket, because I carried around a bucket and I was puking in that bucket for a good 3 to 4 days straight. So that's what they knew me by. It was no longer Angelo, it was Bucket. There's the skipper, Dr. Martin Brennan. He was an awesome guy, and I miss him, and he was inspirational. There's his daughter, Sarah. She also came on board. Liam, he came on board. That was his son. And here's us as 4 of the 6 crew, just fishing and cruising across the ocean. John, he also came on board, and Joe Mumbercat, he came on board. So that's that. After 12 days out at sea, land ho. We spotted land, and that's what it looked like when we got there. And that was exciting to see. Man, I was happy to see land. And then we pulled into Horta. And this is the marina we pulled into, and there was like hundreds of other boats there and all kinds of sailors from all over the world there. We got to hang out with a lot of cool people. That was my favorite part of the trip. This is Pico, the volcano in the Azores, which is 2,000 nautical miles from Nova Scotia, and that's where we stayed for a while and rested our heads and recovered. This is what it looks like. It's quite beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. We went for a walk on that island, and that's the stuff we see. These are a couple of cats I met on board. This guy here had his boat moored right next to us, and he was an interesting character. I found out later he was a drug dealer. This is Martin from London, and he owned a catamaran, and Martin hooked me up with a gig in one of the local restaurants with one of the local guys, and we ended up playing. This is Rory Tyso from Tyso's outdoor store across the UK, and then he hired this guy to take him and his girlfriend for a couple of weeks sailing. So it was kind of neat to hang out with them. She got up dancing on that table, I remember, partway through the night, which was quite interesting. Yeah. Here's a couple of cats we met, a couple of backpackers who were just hopping on board sailboats and going across the Atlantic and traveling all over the world on sailboats, just living the dream. This is Stokey. He was a friend. I made a nice friend with Stokey, and we hung out, and he sailed 250,000 miles. That was his job. People would hire him, and he would just sail all over the world with them. This is the Escudo, which is the currency in Portugal, in the Bank of Portugal. And this is getting towards the later part of the trip, and we're all just sitting around having a beer here and just chilling out, just before we left. And then we had to head her back. I wasn't going to head her back because I was so sick on the way over. I said I'm going to fly back, but I didn't abandon ship. I said the heck with it. I'm going for it. And then this is us leaving and saying goodbye to land, and 12 days later we slowly made our way back. This is sort of chaos. That's us in a storm. And there's a storm, another shitty storm. Boy, oh boy. On calmer days, there's the skipper just on the wheel taking us back, and there's Joe and a beautiful, those days made it worthwhile. And then, back to being that again, hitting more storms. We lost our mainsail on Friday the 13th of August. We also hit a whale and sprung a leak in the bow of our boat. I remember that. It wasn't very pleasant. And then the dolphins and porpoises were everywhere, and they would kind of guide us in and guide us to shore. So, yeah, that's the trip. And I hope you enjoyed the little dialogue, and I hope it took you out of your head for a little while. So that's the story of the double transatlantic crossing. On that trip, I wrote a song called Home from the Tides. I had my guitar with me, and I thought I'd write a full album, but there was no such luck. I was pretty sick for a while and did not feel like writing, but I did actually write this song when I got to land, I believe. It's called Home from the Tides. My eyes, they do grow cloudy now with the skies above the trades. I'm seeing things in a different light, inspired by a gaze. I'm sending me away with a change in mind to relieve my unseen eyes. I'm sending me away on the bright blue brine set for there in the skies. The minutes turn to hours, and a storm is on the rise. It's nature's turn to smile, and planets' great demise. I'm sending me away with a change in mind to relieve my unseen eyes. I'm sending me away on the bright blue brine set for there in the skies. The captain's cry to reef the main set our crew's ascent. Swallowed, beaten, whipped, and bent from Neptune's full intent. Well, I'm sending me away with a change in mind to relieve my unseen eyes. I'm sending me away on the bright blue brine set for there in the skies. I'm sending me away with a change in mind to relieve my unseen eyes. I'm sending me away on the bright blue brine set for there in the skies. So there it is. There's my little story for the day. I really hope you're all doing well. I hope I took you into another little world for maybe 10 minutes of your life and, just brought you into my past and my little world. And hopefully sharing that will ease the tension. So peace out, take it easy, and God bless.